Oh yeah, I'm only a month and 2 weeks left. Yeah, yeah. Snuck up on me. I always felt so far away. So, next week. Well, I guess we don't know this for sure because it's not data mines, but it would make sense that they would launch this banner alongside a Frit for some frustration pulls because it is a pretty heavy water banner, probably one of the heaviest water banners we've seen in a while. It is the reason why they had such a large gap in between Leviathan and Ifrit, is so that they could launch Ifrit near the expected launch time of the Final Fantasy X event. So what do we got in this event? We actually have a new ability, so I'm not going to just talk about a banner. This is the event that Japan got the infinite duration buff on Protect, Shell, and Haste. Global being global, we usually get quality of life buffs before Japan, and this time is no exception. I forget when we got this, but it was a while ago. We do get a new ability. In Japan, it was translated to Trinity Bullet, which is a 4 times hit sharpshooter ability, fire, water, and ice, which is the first 6-star fire sharpshooter ability, which is kind of neat. Self-quick sharpshooter 2, increased damage with range weapons. I actually like it. Being able to provide your own quick cast, and this especially works well when paired with water synchros. And imagine that we get a water synchro in this event, or a sharpshooter synchro. Oh, and that's it. There's nothing fun that really comes out with events anymore, other than new abilities, which we seem to get all the time now. Which or why I said before the preview started that you can never have enough crystals, because awakenings were just ridiculously strong when they came out, so that power level is going to be maintained for a while. A lot of awakenings go really well with their synchros. So even with the launch of 7-star native relics and this new Soulbreak type synchros, and the next 2 new Soulbreak types, awakenings are still going to be near the top of the power curve. So awakenings are always going to be a big part, and since every damaging awakening has a rank base damage boost on it, crystals are always going to be useful because new abilities are coming out all the time, and you get more damage if they're R5, and R5 takes a lot of crystals. So don't ever... this is such a shitty thing to say, but don't ever feel content with the amount of crystals that you have. Let's talk about Banner 1 of this event, which is the one that, if you haven't seen it yet, this is the one everyone's been talking about. And for good reason, because, the game is really elementally focused right now, with the 6-star Magicites being the only top-tier content. And even if you want to include Odin within that, it's still elementally focused. So, when you can identify a weakness of yours, say, water, and see a banner where almost all the stuff on it lines up with that weakness, it makes it an exceptionally good banner for the people that have that weakness. And I guess adding on top of that is the fact that in 6-star Magicite, the damage types are separated, with magical and physical being different fights. So if you've got an elementally focused banner, and not only is it focused on an element, but it's focused on a damage type, this one being physical, that's even more valuable. This is basically a meta banner. It's perfect for the state of the game, and that's why it's been hyped up. It's been hyped up for a good reason. Because a lot of other banners you're going to see are going to have some kind of flaw. Either they, contain too much stuff of a different element that you may or may not need, or they're separated between physical and magical. So by pulling on the banner, you have a chance of, kind of splitting down the middle, helping your physical and your magical team out. And at the end of the day, you spend 250 mithril, and you've helped out each team so much that you've basically weakened the other team, You haven't got the teams up to snuff, up to 6-star, tier. Because the banner was too split and your chances were not good enough for focusing on one thing. And I guess since the first preview that I've done in a while, I'll go on a couple tangents. And this tangent will be, we need music, but 6-star Magicites have 2 different fights, and you actually only need to do one of the fights. We do fights for rewards, and the rewards for 6-star fights are, crystals, artifact stone, which are all pretty cool. But they're not really essential to the game in the way that actually getting 6-star Magicites are. 6-star Magicites are awesome. And you get the same reward from each fight, physical and magical. So spend 20 stamina on the physical fight, get a frit. Spend 20 stamina on the magical fight, get a frit. You only really need to do one. So, if you're constrained on resources, I'm going to assume everybody is. Because if you're not, then, you can do the math from there. But if you're constrained on resources, you only really want to focus on one single fight. And that's why having a banner like this, which focuses on a single element on a single fight, is one of the more ideal banners that can happen during a meta. Okay, so now that I've said that, I'll get some music going. Let's see. Here's a good one. Well, no banner is going to be perfect, and this banner certainly isn't perfect. As Andrew coughed, something sounded like a ject inside that cough, and that we'll start there. We'll start with Jekt, who does occupy 3 slots on the banner? Just 3, and that's okay. And it isn't all bad, because Jekt is actually a pretty good character. So Jekt has an awakening here, 15 times single fire dark, and he's got 2 statuses that come along with the awakening. The awakening itself is just a fire awakening plus a dark awakening. And his 2 statuses start with I think we've had some switch draw statuses, but this is what we refer to as a switch draw status, where you're basically throwing away your first ability after using an awakening, if you don't have a prior source of an element. And he does have a way to end fire and end dark, so you may not be throwing it away. But when you use the awakening, you use a single ability. If it's a fire ability, you gain end fire. If it's a dark ability, you gain end dark. And it can only happen once per battle. So he is a true dual elemental character. that is also that is effective in 6-star fights because he can an element with his awakening for each. You don't have it on the first attack, and well, you kind of do. It's a half and half because I think you do gain the end fire between attacks. With an awakening, you auto double cast. So you'll do your first cast of, say, Iron Fist's fire or whatever. Gain end fire, and then on the second attack, you'll have a end fired ability. And if he dual casts, which he can, then you'll have 2 out of 3 abilities on the first turn that'll have end fire. And same thing goes for Endark. So that right there makes him at least a dual elemental character, and from there we can see how good he actually is. So his fire version of his awakening status is a 5-hit chase, no matter what. All this mumbo jumbo just is for the crit chance buff, but it is always a 5-hit chase, which is actually pretty cool. But the chase itself gains a crit chance, depending on how many times you've used it. Which, alright, sure. But, that 5-hit chase also applies to Dark, but he gets a casting speed stacking buff for Dark. This is much better than the crit chance, in my opinion. Being able to supply your own casting speed. Well, I don't know, maybe. Maybe not. I guess it depends on the fight. Like, for a Torment, especially Final Fantasy X, there isn't a whole lot of ways to modify your casting speed, so the Dark side would be great for Torment. But I guess crit chance is pretty cool for... Still pretty cool for Fire. It's not crit chance on the chase itself. It's a buff. It's a crit chance buff that he gives himself. And for someone like me who doesn't really use Tyro all that often, so I don't have that many crit chance buffs for the entire party, that's actually a lot of damage. Like 100% crit is a 50% damage buff. It's really quite large. Alright, so, I actually like both of these chases. So that's Jex's first item on the banner, and I like it. Also has a 3-hit arcane, sure. I'm not going to say no to arcanes. They're just something that work if you've got other stuff for the character. And here we go. He gets a glint, which I believe has another form of switch draw on it. Switch draw stacking, right? Wrong banner. Yeah, end fire stacking after using fire ability and dark stacking after using a dark ability. It's a pretty cool glint. I like the character a lot. He's got a lot of good things going for him. The only reason that it could be said that he, mars the banner is because he doesn't follow the theme. He's fire and dark. Everything else on the banner is fire. Or, sorry, water. So you have 11 water items and 3 dark and fire. So let's go and start talking about the water stuff. I mean, the real thing that people want to talk about is right here. Tidus' sink. Some sinks are better than others. I think this is one of the better ones. Looks like just vanilla here, but that's okay. Because where Tidus lacks in the status on a synchro, which there isn't one, he gains in having a really, really powerful synchro command. With the attack command Sphere Shot, 4, 6, or 8 single ranged water non-elemental hits increase with uses. So after only 2 uses, this is up to 8 times. 8 hits. 8 hit attack. Pretty good. This is one of the better synchros to pair with an Awakening. So what an Awakening does when it's used with a synchro is... like, I guess I'll start a little earlier. What a synchro does is when you use the command, it'll use the command, and then in your ability 1 or 2 slot, your attack synchro command is linked to the ability 1 slot, and your defense synchro command is linked to your ability 2 slot. And what happens is if you use the attack command, it'll use your ability 1 with it. So it'll cast 1, then cast the other. With the defend command, it'll cast that, and then cast your ability 2. And it does use uses on the ability. So what happens when you combine an Awakening with a synchro is because the Awakening turns those abilities into infinite uses, it de-links them from the synchro. So rather than use the linked ability, it will use the synchro command twice instead. There are some synchros that this works well with. There are some synchros that this works poorly with. Because, say Ashe, for instance. Ashe doesn't have great commands. So, dual casting commands is not where you want to go. What you want to do with her synchro is cast a command and chain Thundasha. Tidus' synchro, on the other hand, has such amazing commands that it is desirable to dual cast your commands. Because, let's think about this for a second. If you have an Awakening going, and you've got Sphere Shot going, that's 16 shots. If your 35% chance to dual cast Legend Materia 2 goes off, that's 24 shots. In a single turn. And if you've got the Synchro and Awakening going at the same time, that means you not only have break damage cap level 1 going, but you also have another break damage cap level 1 going from his Awakening. So his attacks that you're doing, 16 to 24 of them, all have the ability to go up to 30,000 damage. So Tidus does a lot of damage. Some would say almost too much damage, because Ifrit doesn't like it when you do too much damage, and he decides to kill you if you do too much damage. But I'm never gonna hold that against this. It's always going to be useful to do more damage. You can find ways to make it work. Yeah, so Tidus' Awakening and Synchro go together really well. In the second commands, the often forgotten second command, 3 hits and self sharpshooter damage plus 30% for 3 turns. You know, honestly, may not be that bad. Well, it's only for 3 turns. I don't know. I don't know if that's it's probably not worth using. I thought it was a buff for 10 to 15 seconds, but it's not. If it's just for 3 turns, I don't think that's enough. Because this is a command that benefits the more times you use it because of the the stacking. It's kind of... Oh, oops. It's a lot like Squall's BSB2, where you just don't want to do anything else but get it working and then not use anything but it. So, yeah, don't use Command 2. Yes, it does. Record Materia damage boosts stack with everything. I don't think there's anything that they don't stack with. Anything more to say about Tidus' Synchro? I feel like there was one more thing I was looking for. No, I think that's it. It's sick. You know, just by itself, it's sick. Because the Synchro... by the way, Tidus has access to a really powerful sharpshooter ability. Oh, there is something I wanted to talk about. But Tidus does have access to a very powerful sharpshooter ability called Sapphire Shot. Or Sapphire Bullets, whatever. So, you know, if you just have the Synchro, it's not like, 13 attacks in the same turn is going to be a bad thing. It's not even close. There is one other thing I wanted to talk about with this Synchro, is this is one of the Synchros that can be paired up with the Awakening and also link an ability. Now this is going to be kind of weird, and I hope I explain this properly, but Tidus' Awakening is a Sharpshooter Awakening. It is not a Water Awakening, and that's very important. So the fact that Tidus' Awakening is Sharpshooter means that he will turn any Sharpshooter ability that he has into infinite uses. And I already talked about how that de-links the ability from the Synchro. Does Tidus have access to any abilities that do water damage? Because this is a Water Synchro, Sharpshooter Awakening. Does Tidus have access to any water abilities that aren't Sharpshooter? Yes, he does. He's actually Spellblade 3. So he does have access to a water Spellblade attack. And what you can do is that even though you've used his Awakening and you've de-linked your Sharpshooter abilities, and now you're dual casting Synchro commands, a Synchro will still link to a water ability. And if you use that 3-star Water Spellblade, it will also cast that. So it will double cast the command for 16 guaranteed attacks, and then add a 17th on top of it. That one hit rank 3 Spellblade. And it's sad? Sure. But are you complaining with a free 30,000 damage? Because it may be only one hit, but it has a damage cap of 30,000. So, not going to say no to that. If you can find a way, and it can actually be hard to find room on Tidus sometimes, because he has access to 6-star Celerity, so he can use the Power Chain ability. He can generate Soul Break points with Flash Disaster and stuff like that, and Life Siphon. It may not ultimately be worth using the Spellblade ability because you've got other stuff that you would rather have in that ability slot instead. But if you can, it's free damage. There's no reason not to use it. If you link your sync command and dual cast alarm goes off, what do you double cast? You dual cast the command. You always dual cast the ability that you click on. Everything else is something used as part of a status. Let's put it this way, for something that we use right now, or I guess synchros are in the game, so we use those too. But awakenings. When you automatically dual cast an ability with an awakening, the actual order of operations is first attack, then you dual cast. If your dual cast materia goes off, it's the second attack that dual casts the first command. That's what you clicked on. And then the awakening then triggers and then does the second attack. So the dual casts is of whatever you started with. Link commands are essentially a chase. Yeah, that's... Yes. Now, Tidus is one of the characters that can use his awakening and still have a linked ability, even if it is only 3-star. But if you think about the possibilities and want to go on an Enleer's spreadsheet hunt one day, there are actually some really powerful combos. Because some characters have access to 6-star abilities. Rydia is probably the one that stands out the most, where she has a summoning awakening, but her synchro is elemental based. So, and she's a black mage 6. So what you can do is use the summoning awakening, but not delink, chain waterga or chain watersha. So you dual cast your command and then do a chain watersha on top of that. She's probably... Oh, chain stoneja. Her sync is earth. Does she get a water sync? She seems like a character that would. But anyway, that's the way it works because of Rydia's schools and the fact that her awakening is summoning. And there's a few characters that have access to that stuff. Alright, so, hey, Tidus is synchro. Okay, next. Pain's Awakening. Legendary Player Awakening? Oh, God, no, that's... Water Awakening. Okay, that's better. I was like, why would they give her a special awakening when all she really does... Oh, I guess she is a sharpshooter. But if she's a sharpshooter, then just give her a water awakening. And they did. That's why I was confused when I saw this. Anyway, water awakening. And respects counter mode. That's her awakening status. Let's see what they do. Self-quick cast. And chase 1 to 4 water with crit chance. That's kind of... Yeah, that's not that great. Yeah, she's a Spellblader, but that's... I said she's a Sharpshooter 2. She's supposed to be a Spellblader, but she can also Sharpshoot. And that's why I thought it wouldn't be that weird for her to get a special status, because she could do multiple elements. But no, she doesn't. So I don't like this. I actually don't like Pain. Because Pain is limited to a 4-hit 6-star ability. So the fact that she, rather than extend the amount of damage that 4-hit ability can do, but rather give her something that boosts the damage output of those 4 hits is bad. because she already has a very, very high chance to cap her ability before anybody else in the party because of the high multiplier on her single hits. Because it's only 4 hits, so it's compressed damage. This is bad. This is not a good awakening. But it is still a water awakening. It's certainly viable for a Frit. It's just, you would rather it would be better. Did something else other than boost the damage on an already extremely high damage attack. It does give her quick cast, which is cool, but less useful outside of the Torment. Less useful for a Frit than it is for Torment and Phantasm. Yes, she's a 6-star sharpshooter. But that 6-star sharpshooter attack is going to most likely be on Tidus. Her dive is Spellblade focused. So you'd be better served in putting Sapphire Bullet on someone that can use it better than her. Is Pain Awakening worse than Kamari? Yes? Yeah, I think so. I mean, they're practically the same thing, except that Kamari's gives an instant cast, while Pain's gives her quick cast, right? And doesn't Kamari get access to a 6-star ability eventually? Does it do more than 4 hits? Six hits? Okay, well that really answers the question. Yes, Kamari is better than Pain. Already talked about Jekt. Next is Riku's Awakening, 15 single water Awakening, which... Yep. That's proper for her. She's both a sharpshooter and a thief. With her water attacks. Hell yes. Facts. Man, just listening to it makes me want to play it again. Despite its ridiculous difficulty. The game is definitely harder for me now than it was when I was a kid. Anyway, Riku Water Awakening. Dynamic Mix is her awakening status. Dynamic Mix is Chase Water with 40% damage resist 1. That's actually freaking awesome. Because of the way a Frit is actually a huge-ass damage dealer. Yeah, that's awesome. This is, if Pain had something like this, just don't focus on Storm Spell Strike. Storm Spell Strike sucks. Extend her ability to do something. Don't buff the friggin' the shitty attack that she has. This is great, and not only is this great, but the thief ability that Riku uses is also great. So Riku, out of nowhere. I guess it's not out of nowhere. She's actually been steadily becoming an extremely good character for a long time. Not that this Riku's Awakening is new, but this is very good for the fight that she's going to be used in. Aren't they making a 5-hit Water Spellblade later? Are they? That is a good question. And this is why I'm having these previews for, so I'm no longer as out of touch as I was. I know they're making a 5-hit Ice. because, God, did they need that. But I don't think so. The only one that I knew of was the ice. Yeah, it's just ice. And 3 ultimate abilities. Squall, Celeste, and Bards. You know, I was actually looking at the ultimate abilities attached to the next event that I want to pull on, which is the Squall Renoa event. Renoa's ultimate ability is not good. I mean, it's good. It's actually amazing, but it's Witch. And her dual cast Witch materia is not on that banner. So good luck. Oh, if you have her dual cast Witch already, then her ultimate ability is awesome. You know, you've circumvented the problem with that I have with it. But yeah, Valkyrie. It's an Ice and Earth Witch ability. It's phenomenally powerful. But it's unfortunately not covered on the banner. Okay, that was a tangent I didn't mean to go on. So Riku's awesome. And that's the 4 top-end things on the banner. We have 2 arcanes. One for Pain, which is actually kind of nice, because Pain only has access to Storm Spell Strike, so she has a low damage turns. So her having access to an arcane is good. Some characters, like Tidus, for instance, an arcane is much less useful on a character like this because they do so much ridiculous amounts of damage in a single turn with their abilities. Pain is not one of those characters, so Pain having an arcane is good. It's a much bigger upgrade for her than it would be for somebody else. And Jekt is fine. He's fine. He is a really good character, though, with his Awakening being a 5-hit chase. So, and the abilities he has access to being 5 hits and 6 hits for Dark. So, he does have high damage turns. Next, we have Pain's Chain. Not a big win for me, but like the Chocobo banners that we've been getting, water elemental focused banners that also have a Generation 2 chain on it are almost must pulls for people that don't have Generation 2 chains. You know, this is really no different. If you don't have a Generation 2 water chain, this banner is incredible just because of the presence of this. She pales in comparison to Riku as a chain holder, but if you don't have it, then that's not useful information for you. Having one of these is so much better than not having one of them. So yeah, not like I need to talk about a Generation 2 chain that much, because they're a known quantity. Oh yeah, she's... exactly. I mean, going from 0 to Pain is a disgusting boost. If Strago's USB was available on Animal Lenses, I'd almost go so far as to say that Strago's probably a better physical chain than Pain. But Strago's USB isn't on Animal Lenses, so even if you do have his chain, he can't really do much for your party. So Pain would be better than him. But if you do have his USB and his chain, that's tough. I'd want Pain's Awakening to match up to that. Because Strago's USB is really, really powerful. The Water Radiant Shield and the Party Instant Cast 1 is beneficial to physical and magical teams alike, so it makes them a pretty good cross-chainer. Okay, so after the chain we have Pain's Ultra, which is probably, if I'm being honest, the more desirable damage soul break for Pain on the banner. I mean, the Awakening's cool, but I think the Ultra, because there are going to be other characters, hopefully other characters on your team that do more damage than Pain could with her Awakening, so I kind of would almost rather to use Pain's Ultra, which is Chase Water, Physical High Quick Cast 1 to their front row, and Chase 3 Water with Party Water Damage plus 10%. I'd almost rather use Pain as a support character to buff up the people that are going to do real damage than have her use her Awakening itself. Yes, it's a very good Ultra. And it's not one that's unknown to us. Bart's has one with his USB 3. Lightning's USB 3. Ash's USB 2. Right? Yeah, Ash's USB 2. And they've all been good. I've used both Ash's and Bart's in 6-star Magicite. They've been both very effective. Especially Bart's on that physical team was amazing. So I really do actually like this Ultra. And personally for me, actually definitely for me, it would be the more desirable out of the two of her Ultra and Awakening. Which, you know, it sounds like sacrilege, but the game's weird sometimes. Yeah, it's a 1-turn instant cast a party for Strago. Oh, no, for Cypher, okay. Oh yeah, Cypher's USB 2 is very good. Characters that provide quick cast to the entire party, along with doing their normal damage stuff, generally pretty good. Nope, that's banner 2. Saw a Waka thing on there. I was like, what? Alright, Tidus is Glint Plus. Or I love Glint Pluses in all shapes and sizes. Self M-Water stacking and instant cast 1 for 0 cost. It's one of the best relics on the banner. Yes, please. And same thing for Pain. And this is going to be good no matter what version of Pain you run. So this is also extremely good. Yeah, if you use Chain Pain, instant cast 1, you just use this before her chain, and that saves you a ton of time and provides her as being someone that actually does damage rather than just being a chainer. So this is a very nice thing to have for any version of Pain. So love that. Riku's so the game revolves around soul break points, okay? So being able to just generate 500 soul break points for nothing instantly. Okay, sure. All 3 of these Glint Pluses are extremely good. Next we have another glint, this for Riku and water stacking and quick cast 2. Also really good. Please. This is a very, very good banner analysis song. Already talked about Jex Glint and Riku's LMR. Again, really good double cast water. This is especially good on Riku because of the new Thief ability that we just got recently. Every second time that it's used imperils the boss by 10%. Yes, I'm currently feel like I'm living in this place. So yeah, this 6-star ability that just came out for Thief, it's the same as the Darkness ability. Touched by Darkness. Minor Imperil Water, it's a 10% Imperil for 15 seconds after every 2 uses. And that also takes into consideration dual cast. So if she dual casts on the first turn that she uses it, Imperil. So dual casting that ability is even better than just simply doing twice as much damage. So this is a really good banner for what it was supposed to come out tomorrow night, but what has already come out because of the DNA intern. All praise to the DNA intern. So Ifrit is currently active in the game right now, and this banner is made to slay him. Plus Jacked, who thank goodness is good. So he's not a complete drag on the banner. Am I going to pull? I don't know. Probably. It's tough. If I'm gonna assume for a second that I'm able to beat Ifrit before this this banner comes out. And running under that assumption, do I pull on this banner even though I don't need any water stuff? Or any physical water stuff? How much of this banner is still useful to me for the purpose of Phantasms? A lot. And that's what's got me confused. Normally I would say no immediately and just run away. Because what's the point if, the content that's in the game is already defeated? This is going to be good. Doesn't matter when. This is better than what I have right now because I'll probably be running Bart's as my second DPS in water at the moment. So this is better than what I have. But is it going to be something that I'm looking for Phantasm? No, I think the power level of this is going to be too low for me to justify pulling it for it now for Phantasms. I would rather just save my Mithril and pull for Final Fantasy Final Fantasy X stuff further down the line. Tidus' Synchro's power level stays just high enough where I don't have to worry about that. Ject Awakening would actually be on my Physical Fire team. And also probably my Physical Dark team, but less useful for Physical Dark. But I personally think Ject is pretty powerful, so it's probably a pretty good Phantasm thing as well. So this has some value. Really, the Riku stuff on the banner is, next to Tidus' Synchro, the most valuable stuff that I could possibly pull. So let's say that Riku's Awakening, Glint Plus, Glint, and LMR are all things that I would be happy to have for Phantasm in the future. So that's, if we combine Tidus's Synchro and Tidus's Glint Plus and Riku's Awakening, and then Riku's other 3 things, that makes 6 things on the banner. Then Jekt is pretty cool, but not crazy good. Pain's Ultra, definitely awesome. Awesome. You know, the ability to provide a renewable physical high quick cast every single turn, and it's spammable, so this never has to go down. Would be great for Phantasm. So that's also really high on the list. And because that's high on the lists, Pain's Glint Plus would also be high on the list. So that makes 8 things that really stick out. And I don't mind the Jekt stuff. So it's still a fairly good banner, even if I've, you know, defeated a Frit. Is it good enough to pull on? It's so difficult. Because it does go against, you know, rules. Where if there's other banners in the future that are for, you know, the same purpose, then there's no reason to pull now. You want to pull later. And there is going to be Final Fantasy X banners in the future. But yeah, I guess really what I need to do is look at the future Final Fantasy X banners. Because what this banner has going for it is the 2 focal point characters of Final Fantasy X are Tidus and Riku, to me, because of the stuff that I already have for them. This banner may actually be better for Phantasm than future banners are. So I really just need to start looking into the future. And I guess if there's anybody else out there in my same situation, might as well get that done right now. What do we got? No future. There's nothing. No, I don't think there's... I don't know if it'd be possible to replace Riku with Pain's Chain. I think Pain's Chain is actually just a complete dead slot on the banner, for me. Wow, no future Final Fantasy X stuff, so that makes it even harder to make the decision. I have no more information. I have Riku's Chain and her Realm Chain, and you know, if I don't kill a Frit, if I am unable to kill a Frit with my current party, which I actually don't really think is gonna happen. Then this banner becomes auto pull. When do realm banners get updated again? I don't know. It's a good question. A month after Next Fest. So April? Oh yeah, I have 3 tickets currently. And I really want to spend them, but I don't have any current day holes. content is being released at such a low pace that I've been able to keep up and maintain an extremely high level of mithril too. I have so many resources, and that's probably one of the reasons why I'm considering, and I think after seeing that there's no Final Fantasy X event for the next 6 months, I think I'm probably going to pull on this banner at least once. Because I just have too many resources. And I do know that this is still a good banner, whether I need it for a fruit or not. There's, so knowing that this is a good banner for me, and not wanting to take the risk that the next Final Fantasy X banner, even 6 months from now, is just not good. Yeah, I think I'm gonna pull on this banner. Yeah, they could come out with like a Braska banner or something. And while they may make Braska good, I don't have a good Braska. So it'd be like starting from scratch, building up a character. And why put myself through that when I can make characters that are good for me right now and make them better? Tidus' Synchro makes him a better character with the stuff that I have. Riku's Awakening, same. Riku in Tidus' Glit Plus, same. Riku's LMR, same. This is all stuff that makes good characters better than they are already. So, yeah, I'm pulling on this banner. Well, I don't really have much fear of Shiva. I actually have had a very powerful fire team for a while. I may already have the stuff to kill Shiva on both damage types already. That's how good my fire is. It is. It's kinda. It's kinda nice. It's also boring. You know, I kind of miss the 5-star Magicite Torment era, where every Magicite fight had unique rewards. Like Belias was a reward for itself, and so was Phoenix, where you only have to worry about a single fight for 6-star, so there's essentially 8 6-star Magicite fights, where there were 16 5-star Magicite fights, along with 17 Torment fights, all happening at the same time. It was chaos, and it was frustrating at times, but it is the way I like to play the game. I like not being able to do stuff. Like, some of those Torment first kills, just, you know, finding random fucking Super Soul Breaks in my inventory that got me the kill. Buying Yuna's Super Soul Break 2 from Animal Lenses, and that got me the kill. Just really scraping at the bottom of the barrel. And completing content with it. It's really a rewarding way to play. Right now, I feel too strong. I don't feel like the game's throwing. I'm outpacing the game, and it's not how I like it. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, well, specifically 6-star Magicite. That's what I said. 6-star Magicite is not challenging enough. You know, gacha games are ultimately resource management games, and I have too many resources. Don't know what to do with them. And that's why, from subscribers, you see me uploading a bunch of speedrun videos. Alright, so that was banner 1. That is the preferred banner of the event, for sure. Because it, you know, it covers what it needs to for the current day content. And, you know, even if you've completed current day content, it may still be a good banner. It's just really, really good banner. Yeah, well, when we get there, sure. Next week, I'm going to do the event that comes after Final Fantasy X, and the week after that, I'm going to do the event that comes after that event, and eventually we will get to that Final Fantasy VI banner. But anyway, banner 2, yet 2 guaranteed rainbow discos instead of 1. Does that make it worth it? Yeah, because of the stream title, I'm trying to make this a weekly thing again. Yes, they're back on the menu. They're really just. I actually didn't talk about this in the general Discord. I only did in the sub channel. But yeah, I've been cooking up getting back to weekly streams. I do, well, I want to do future analysis, but the stuff that's current day. It's not that I don't want to do that right now, Rainmaker. It's just like, it's kind of like drawing the line. I only have so much time. So it's like just picking and choosing. Honestly, I've been actually thinking about doing that for quite some time. Actually, like, just doing a cooking stream and talking Record Keeper during it. Because I actually love cooking. Alright, anyway, that was a hell of a tangent. Let's go back to Banner 2. Lulu's Awakening. Can confirm it's very powerful, because Lulu's a pretty damn good character. Does not have N element on it, but Lulu does have a lot of different ways to end ice, and she is getting, or has a couple of ways to end water. It's not great. You probably have plenty of things that you can replace this with, and I suppose, yeah. When it comes to magical ice, there's someone, can't really put my finger on the name of her right now, that really, really stands out. But, Sarah, well, it is 5 letters. I've been using Lulu a lot lately, but that's for Torment and 5-star Magicite speedrunning. So I don't want that part of me being adding too much bias to her Awakening, because she's extremely powerful for me. But when it comes to 6-star, I think she loses a lot of that, because her Awakening itself doesn't provide an element, so she needs to provide it in a different way. And while, you know, even for people that can, it always costs more for them to do it, making them have an innate disadvantage compared to people that can an element with their Awakening. Luckily, her USB 1 is very complimentary. Her USB 1 is very simple. It's a self buff, instant cast 2, and an ice. pretty powerful. Well, not powerful. It's very complementary. So it really helps. And that's available for animal lenses. And I suppose because Lulu has access to Witch, it does give her something that, while Renoa can Witch, Renoa has more things that augment black magic, so you'd kind of rather keep the two separated. So Lulu does work well with Renoa. Renoa was the 5-letter Ice Queen that I mentioned. I don't think so, Steven. I forget what it's called. No, Abaddon Bolzaja. I can't believe I remembered that. Her awakening's okay. Just know that you've got to have other stuff. Already talked about Kamari's awakening. Actually, really powerful. I know Kamari gets a lot of shit. He gets a lot of shit, but he's still really good. So let's look at Kamari. Didn't have to go down there, apparently. Oh, he gets no airtime. I thought he had instant cast. I think the no airtime is cool, I guess. Yeah, I mean, he has to have no airtime. There's no water version of Cyclone Bolt. The 5-star ability is already instant cast. Oh, okay. That's where I got that from. Okay. Well, anyway, Kamari's Awakening is good. Waka, hate Waka. Oh. Thanks, Rick. And you are welcome. Happy to be back. The alert should pop up on screen, stream anytime now. If YouTube gets up off its ass. So I don't like Waka, but am I being too harsh on him? Attack, magic, and defense minus 70%? Okay. Well, that is really good. And what's inherited volley shot? Chase 2 sharpshooter with a 6-hit chase? Well, that's not great, but I guess you can kind of consider that a bonus if you want to say that the big ass debuff is the highlight. But only 3 awakenings on the banner. Kamari Arcane, Riku Chain, Ject Ultra, Waka Ultra, Kamari Glint Plus. Only 1 Glint Plus. They really don't want people pulling on this banner, huh? Oh, I'm so happy that Kamari gets a no airtime 3 Glint Plus. When his awakening has no airtime on it. Isn't it nice when a supposedly complimentary relic doesn't complement a character's good relic? Oops. Well, this is nice. Getting Lulu's M Water Glint. High break resists are a thing, but that's a 70% break, which they cut through. 70% are still felt. Quite strongly. Ugh, this banner is filthy. It's got some really good stuff on it. Like Riku's Quick Cast 3 LMR, awesome. Kamari and Waka's Awakening, pretty good. And I guess Waka's Dual Cast LMR, good too. But it's there's a lot of junk here too. So they're really just they're making you fish for the good stuff, which is unpleasant. So if you want to roll the dice, go ahead. But I wouldn't touch this banner with a 10-foot pole. No, they don't ever put LMRs on in updates. Didn't do it in the second, didn't do it in the third. Well, the only LMRs that they did add were for characters that came out, new characters. They don't add new LMRs. Why isn't this already zoomed? So, handy little animal lens list here. This is everything you can get on animal lenses, and the new stuff that's going to be in the next wave, which is going to probably be in June, is in red. We'll go down to tier 2. Glints are the new wave that's going to be in wave, or the new stuff that's going to be in wave 3. But as you see, no LMRs. See new characters. Did they didn't put Genesis's LMR on here? What assholes! Yeah, so not even LMRs for new characters. Unless I just missed it. Ooh, Tyro and Alara's glints. Best save up your tier 2 lenses. We got some nice stuff to get. Well, that doesn't matter, Borat. When Wave 2 came out, even characters that had came out recently got their LMRs. I think Oron was not that long before Wave 2 came out. LMR. Lilith, definitely. LMR. It's kind of the thing that they did. They didn't give like USBs or anything to them, but even characters with nothing else, they at least put their LMR on the banner. Yeah, every character. So it's interesting that Wave 3 doesn't do the same thing. It's kind of shitty, actually. Alright, well... Is there anything anyone wanted me to go over on Banner 2? Other than the fact that I don't like Banner 2? I think it's too weak. Too weak, even with, getting 2 instead of 1 guaranteed. There's no reason to spend Mithril on something this week. Unless you're just fishing. Want to play the sweepstakes. The lottery. For, like, Riku's LMR. You want to know what's cooking? At the moment, nothing. I wish I was cooking, because I'm starving. But I planned on cooking later. And I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Either I'm going to whip up a batch of chili, or I'm going to make chicken tikka masala. It's probably my two choices. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at the Final Fantasy III banner. There's going to be a distant preview. I hope I can keep up on these. Not going to look at